Hello, welcome
Hello.
to Tales from the Shed. And today we're talking about the 3 R's.
That's right. What are they? Rewind, review, reset.
Tell us more about that.
Well, I was talking to this amazing woman this week called Dawn Klatzko, and she was telling me about this, that she had reached a point in her life where she'd been very successful in the kind of corporate world, and she decided really that she was just a bit, burnt out by it. And she said, and she used this phrase, and I just thought, God, that's brilliant, isn't it? Rewind, review, reset. And I just thought that is a great thing to do when you get to your 40s, whatever it is. Actually at any time really, it's pretty good, but just particularly at this time, it's really important for women to do that. And it's almost like that's what we do.
So
in our retreat, is that's what we're encouraging people to do,
because there's definite times in your life where that happens, like leaving perhaps a relationship or moving to a new part of the country,
having children living home, whatever it is.
And definitely menopause. That is such an important part of the newness of the hormones and the new way we feel about things. But also I would say, we did the classic end of year, it's the new year, this is what my life wants to look like, which is all a bit, but sometimes we need a bit of a kick to think, okay, it's my birthday, or it's summer, or it's sometimes actually having a little bit of a ritual forces us to do that, which might be, as much as I hate the new year and this year's going to be different, and you think, well, you've had 60 of them, why didn't you change it? It doesn't mean we shouldn't.
It's one of those things that where you start, it's a bit like having that bit of sand in the oyster, isn't it? That you've been going along for a period of time, it's fine, but then things just start to irritate you a bit more. And I think this is what she was describing, because she was like saying that she'd done this, she talked about what she'd achieved, and it sounded great, and then she was like saying, but she kind of realized that whatever it was, that wherever she'd started to do this thing, she'd either forgotten why she was doing it, or it wasn't the right thing anymore. And I think that's the rewind. So you kind of think, oh, hold on a minute, I thought this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. It's a bit like, it's like when you realize you don't want to be married to somebody anymore. It's like, I thought this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Actually, hold on, where did it start to,
where do I want to rewind to?
Where do I want to rewind to? Where did it start to become like I was going along quite happy, and then it kind of, there's a split, and you're kind of going this, but you're still doing this, and then that irritation becomes more and more, and then at some point you realize, I just don't want to do this. I want to do that. I want to. So let's go back to where
it was.
So rewind.
So I would say kind of where you lost yourself.
Kind
of where yourself began to take on other people. I mean, that's difficult because yourself and other people are always integrated, but it is that where you suddenly lost enjoying your job, and suddenly became under someone else's power or something, or in a relationship where you suddenly ended up not feeling great with things.
Or you just got to do that thing, because it is that thing
where I've done it now. It doesn't have to. That's the other thing.
It's a bit like me and my PhD, when I suddenly realized I don't want to do this anymore, and actually having invested 5 years in it, and then kind of going, oh, hold on a minute, where do I want to go back to? I'm going to go to this bit,
and then go forward.
Then I'm just going to review, and then the review is, what do I want to take forward? What do I want to leave behind? What are the things that the baggage that I was taking that actually I would like to put down on the station now, and I would like to go without it.
And it's interesting you say that, because I obviously in clinic I deal with people that are it's I still quite like this, or I quite like, my job is still okay, or my house is still good.
It's not completely and utterly awful.
No, but I always say you don't have to stick with a job until it's terrible. You could have had, and I have had brilliant jobs that I've really, really, really loved, and thought, but I'm going to have a go at that one.
I think there are times I've been in a situation where, for whatever reason, I may have been made redundant, whatever, and I was like thinking, well, I thought that was okay, and then I realized, oh, bloody hell, it wasn't.
Well, even if
I just realized it's some, and I think I should have left it.
But I'm probably saying, I had a friend, and she she was really, really, really old. I was about 22, she was 40, and I didn't think anyone would be that old.
Yeah,
it's like that. But she was so wise. She was such a brilliant person to meet at that time in my life. And she had relationships, and she had everybody from 6 months to a year.
Okay.
And at the end of a year, which was your longest serving time, it was done. And she said, because I like lots of different relationships, I will never cheat on anybody. And right from day one, I have told you that that's what I do.
Yeah.
And she said, sometimes she's dumped people. She said, I really love them and I'm really, really, really happy. But there's more people out there. And I kind of, I've never done that, and I've never judged her, because I felt she was honest and open about what she did. But it really opened my eyes to this whole, you don't have to do it to death. You don't even have to realize in retrospect that it was bad. It's like, I've had a job, I've loved a job, there's another job. Or I live in this place, I love my house, but there's another house completely different.
Yes. So I think, so it is a good thing. So it is that thing of, so rewind, okay, review what that situation is and reset. It's a bit like, you know, system reset. Okay, going forward.
And she said, okay, so we'll use that example of the rewind. I like my company and I like meeting people and I like lots of different people. So this person's now becoming a bit sameish, even though I love it. And then it's like, and the reset is, I like that moment of just getting to know somebody new and exploring it all.
Fair enough.
So I guess that's what she did, but in a way that we always think we have to fix things, and we spend our whole life fixing real or unreal problems. Whereas why don't we just think, what do I love?
And I think answers. I heard somebody saying once that, you know, you can be, any relationship can be successful. You just have to be prepared to put the work in. Which I think is fair enough.
Yes, it's true. But is it right?
Do you really want to put the work in? And I also think that does depend on the other person being willing to put the work in. Well, I think to make it work, ultimately, I've been in relationships where I was in a situation where I thought, you know what, I'm quite prepared to put the work in. I think this is as good as it's going to get. That was fine. And then in that situation, the other person did not have that thought. So he left. And was it devastating? Yes. Was it the right thing? Yes. Because then I wouldn't be with Rod now. It's just like, you know, okay, so that was fine. And I learned a lot of things through that process. So in one sense, you could say I wasn't in control of that reset, review, rewind, whatever. However, and I didn't want it to be. I did not want it to happen at the time. I was absolutely devastated and distraught, and I did not want it to happen. But actually, even a year later, looking back, I could see that actually it was the right thing for me to not be in that relationship anymore.
I think we're very fear-driven.
Yes.
And I think we do this fixing, fear-driven. Whereas I think that 3 R's is a bit more like, what joy? What isn't joyous? And I'm just going to step forward. And if it doesn't bring me joy, I'll redo it again. It's like, and I think perhaps losing some of our fear and accepting that, reviewing it, because it's a lot of reviewing is, how can I make the stuff that I know stay still? How can I make it work? How can I hold it? And it's like, reviewing is letting it go. Rewind is going back to when you're happy. And resetting is like, it's a blank page. It's going forward without fear.
Like it is system reset. You know, let's kind of do that. And I think so. That's a good thing to do at this time. Well, whatever time you're at. But particularly at menopause, that is that whole thing.
Menopause or nudges.
With the proviso that I think with menopause, and we've said this before, because the hormonal chaos is going on, you have to look at, what is this? Is this because of the hormonal chaos? Do I kind of hate my husband? Do I kind of do whatever? I want to leave my job, whatever it is. Is that because the hormones are doing that to me? If I was balanced,
trust your gut.
Would I still be doing it?
I think trust your gut. I think if you look at, am I forcing other people to change their behaviour, victimizing them, becoming a victim?
Yes.
Am I being poor
How's
me
that
about
working?
this?
Yes.
And then when we get past that, just trust your gut and go without fear.
So yeah, so remember, think about that. Is it at time for the 3 R's?
Review.
No. Rewind. Review. Reset.
Yeah, get it right. That's